Objective 4. Determine the mode of a variable from raw data. A third measure of central tendency is the mode, which can be computed for either quantitative or qualitative data. The mode of a variable is the observation of the variable that occurs most frequently in the data set. To compute the mode, you tally the number of observations that occur for each data value. The data value that occurs most often is the mode. If no observation occurs more than once, then we would say that the data have no mode. Now, a set of data can have no mode, one mode, or more than one mode. For example, finding the mode of quantitative data. The following data represent the number of O-ring failures on the shuttle Columbia for the 17 flights prior to its fatal flight. So, we're going to tally the number of times each data value occurs. So for 0, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. For 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for 2, we have 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 3. Now the data value with the highest frequency is the mode. The mode is 0 because it occurs most frequently, which is 11 times. Next. Okay, we want to find the mode of quantitative data. So we're going to find the mode of the exam scores data listed in Table 1. So we're going to tally the number of times each data value occurs. Well, if we take a look at each data value, each one of them only occurs once. So none of them occur twice. So the data value, again, with the highest frequency is the mode. But because each data value only occurs once, then we would have to specify that there is no mode. Okay, next, data sets with more than one mode. A data set can have more than one mode. So for example, if the data in Table 1 had two scores of each of 77 and 88, then the data would have two modes, 77 and 88. In this case, we would say that the data are bimodal. If a data set has 3 or more modes, then we would say that the data are multimodal. The mode is usually not reported for multimodal data because it is not representative of a typical value. If you take a look at Figure A, this shows a distribution with one mode. And then Figure B shows a bimodal distribution. Example, finding the mode of qualitative data. So the data in Table 5 down here represent the location of injuries that required rehabilitation by a physical therapist. And we're going to determine the mode of the location of each injury. So let's take a look at back. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. So far we have 12 of the back. Okay, so let's take a look at the wrist. We have 1 and then we have 2. Okay, let's take a look at the elbow. So we have 1. Okay, let's take a look at the hip. We have 1, 2. Okay, let's take a look at the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, let's take a look at the knee. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, let's take a look at the hand. 1, and then 2. And then for the groin, we have 1. And then for the neck, we have 1. So, the mode location of injury is the back because there are 12 instances. Now, this chart below explains when to use each measure of central tendency. Now, the measure of central tendency, so the mean, the computation, the population mean, is taking the sum of the data values divided by the sum of the population observations. The sample mean, x bar, is equal to the sum of the observations divided by the sample size of the observations. The interpretation is the center of gravity. And when do we use the mean? When data are quantitative and the frequency distribution is roughly symmetric. The median. Well, in order to find the median, we have to arrange the data in ascending order and then find the observation in the middle. It divides the bottom 50% of the data from the top 50%. When the data are quantitative and when do you use it is when the data are quantitative and the frequency distribution is skewed left or skewed right. The mode. How would we find the mode? We tally data to determine most frequent observation. How do we interpret it? By writing the most frequent observation. And then when do we use it? When the most frequent observation is the desired measure of central tendency or the data are qualitative.